Based in Santa Ana, California, Bioenno Power provides the highest performance lithium ion phosphate batteries for the marine market. These batteries are 1/4 the weight of sealed lead acid batteries, provide over 2,000 to 3,000 charge cycles, and a 10+ year service life. These batteries can be used for any deep cycle application, including running fish finders, trolling motors, live wells, and LED lights. For more information, visit bioennopower.com. That's BIOENNOPOWER.com or contact dealers nationwide.
Welcome to the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. This is the final cast segment with your hosts Brad Hicks and Josh Eldridge, where we cast our final opinions on all products, good and bad. Welcome to the final cast.
It's the final cast on the Paddle Fin Network. I'm Josh.
I'm Brad.
Tonight we have our own Dan Perry. What's up, Dan?
What up? That's me.
Yeah, we're so happy to have you, buddy. It's been a while since I talked to you on here. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Living life here in Snowpocalypse 2021. We actually got snow in Alabama, if you can believe it. Like
That's crazy.
0.0001 of an inch, but we got it.
I bet Jimmy's happy.
Yeah, well, he's in North Alabama. They got a lot more than what we did.
Oh, yeah.
Central Alabama, we did get some. It looks like powdered sugar, but it doesn't taste like it. I tried. I'm on keto, so I was out there licking it. Not powdered sugar.
Does people freak out down there when you get stuff like that, like driving wise?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't leave the house today, but yeah, it was like complete chaos.
That's
nonstop, wall-to-wall coverage of, Snowmageddon. Everything's sold out down here. It's been crazy.
It's all right. We live in Ohio where this happens every winter, and people still do that, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Seriously, I got behind a car. Well, we didn't get that much. I mean, we got about 6 to 8 inches, but I got behind a car this morning that was literally doing like 10 miles an hour. And I'm like, it took me 10 minutes to go down a road that takes about 3 minutes. I was just like, come on. Everybody's at the grocery store buying stuff. And here, though, we've got all the equipment for it, Dan, right? We've got giant plow trucks, salt galore. And usually the roads were bad this morning. But by the end of the day, when the sun came out, everything was fine.
Yeah, they were dry.
Every time it snows, everybody literally acts like we're going to be stuck inside for weeks at a time.
Yeah, that don't make any sense because, like, the very next day you can go to the store and get what you need anyway.
Well, my ex-wife, man, I used to laugh at her. She'd be like, should we go to the grocery store? I'm like, you do realize I have a 4x4 truck, and we actually live within walking distance of a grocery store. So we'll make it.
Yeah.
We'll make it.
Yeah. But, I mean, this was our first real big snow in like 2 years, man.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. But
yeah. It was like, like you said, I had a ton of snow in my driveway. I was surprised. They said like 8 to 10 or whatever, and I was like, yeah, it's probably gonna be like 2. Yeah. And I woke up, I'm like, oh wow.
Well, we invited Dan to come on and review some of his products he's got. I think we're going to talk about a kayak, his net, and a rod holder. And so Dan had recently, you switched kayak brands towards the end of last year in the fall. Brad, Brad has no reason to ever talk, man.
Well, let me say this though. Everybody says that I do this too, and Dan's just as guilty. I'm just trying to point out that I'm not the only one.
Yeah, I've had a few. I'm not going to say I haven't. Yeah, I've had it for over 6 months now. I right now I have the Old Town Sportsman 120 PDL, and I gotta say, like, I'll just review straight off the bat. 2 huge thumbs up. Like any kayak, it is imperfect. Like none of them. Let's be honest. None of them are absolutely perfect because they're not suited. They can't be perfectly suited to every person or to every environment, to every situation. They just can't be. If any, like if any kayak was suited perfectly to one situation, it wouldn't be the perfect kayak because then it wouldn't be suited for everything else. But the 120 Sportsman PDL from Old Town is an all-around great kayak. It's a pedal kayak. So let's say for number one, let's talk about cost. The cost is great. So if you're looking for a budget-minded, now it's not in that Hobie price range, so I'm not going to compare it to a Hobie. This is, I think, what is it, $22.99? Is that what the price is? Okay, $2,200, so $21.99. So it's not a $4,800 PA14.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. It's half that price or less than half that price. So I'm not going to compare it to a Hobie. But as far as pedal drives go right now, this is my favorite pedal drive I've ever owned, and I've owned a bunch. Like I 100% mean that. Out of all the ones I've owned, I've been on a couple of teams. This right now is the best kayak ever owned for me. It's fantastic, and I'll start from the front. So if you're listening on the podcast and you're not watching this on YouTube, at the very front, first you've got a drain plug. And first, I'll start with my first impressions of Old Town. I thought, kind of Old Town, it's a little bit big box store. Mm-hmm. And I think maybe that's some people's impression of it, that it's made for a mass consumer. It's made for people, like it's not like a serious kayak. It's made, the costs are kept down, that it's not made for the serious tournament kayak angler. Look, I can tell you right now, that's just not the truth. That it is absolutely made. Number one, the drive has a 5-year warranty. So I think the drive has the best warranty on the market.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Yeah, and the amount of time I've had it, I know on Seminole, the week before the tournament, the Hobie tournament, I went down and I'm a heavy dude, and I went and absolutely slammed. I mean, full speed, like 4 miles an hour, getting it slammed into a stump as hard as I could. And I did not break the drive. So I'll say right now, like I have given that drive everything it could handle so far. And in the amount of time I've had it, and it's held up great. So I can't give a long-term review because I haven't had it long enough to give it that amount of time. But for the amount of time I've had, I'm not easy on my gear. So it's great.
That drive, is there a way that you can unlock it to where it like pops up when you hit something?
Yeah, so if it does have a locking mechanism, and you can buy extra ones. So some of the extra parts I would have an extra prop, and just for any pedal kayak, an extra extra prop nut. There's also an extra prop washer, and the locking mechanism that keeps the drive down. I would have an extra one of them. So it's kind of a sacrificial part. So if you were to hit a stump, luckily mine didn't break that time. I guess I'm just that good. I don't know. I just got lucky it didn't break, honestly. So if you hit, it's a sacrificial part. But that's another good thing about Old Town. I'm not trying to blow smoke on Old Town. I'm not on their team. And that's why I wanted to review it, because I am unbiased. They're not paying me to do this. Is if you hit something and that part is sacrificial, it's only $5 part. They keep all their prices really low so you can have those spare parts. So if it breaks, you just have a wrench, an Allen wrench, and you put a new one on and you're good. But if you're in a really stumpy area, and I kind of was, so I probably could have kept it unlatched. You can just keep it unlatched and go without having to have that clamp down. You will get a little bit of water on your deck if you don't have, because it's got a seal to keep the water off the deck. So you get a little bit of water, but it's got 4 scuppers right there. And then I know, so right there, it's got 2 in front of the drive, 2 right there on the deck where your feet sit, and then 2 underneath the seat. So a whole bunch of scuppers right there in the front part. So it's a super dry boat, but where the drive is, the PDL, it's got a weather stripping that whenever the drive sits down and it's latched down, it keeps the water down too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the drive is super, super. It's the great thing about the drive is it's well geared. So, and this isn't to put down any other drives, but there's some other pedal drives on the market, not like a Hobie, but other actual centrifugal drives that the way that I'll just talk well about the PDL drive and not bad about other drives, but the way the PDL drive is geared, it's perfectly geared, at least for me, to where I get maximum speed out of minimal effort.
Mm-hmm.
So other drives they're not geared high enough to where, like if you're on a mountain bike and you're having to pedal too much and you're not going fast enough, so you're overexerting yourself and you're having to pedal too much and you're not going fast enough. Like if you're not geared hard enough or you're geared too much and then you're like grinding and so it's that perfect combination of gearing with the pedal drive. That's the best part about that drive. And if you have a pedal drive, it's all about what drive you have. It really is. So go ahead.
We're waiting on a kayak that's 18 speed, like a mountain bike.
Yeah, but and that's kind of the thing. Like I like things that are simple. Like I'm a simple man. I love things that are simple because things are going to break out there. I don't know if I've thought about that before. I don't know if I would want one that had a bunch of gears.
Yeah, I don't know.
Scare me. Like moving parts scare me on a kayak.
Could you imagine though, like pedaling at like 20 miles an hour in a kayak?
That would be great. Yeah, for sure. But in the front you have a drain plug so you can flip over the kayak and get all the water out. And I haven't had any water in my kayak. It's been absolutely dry. You have a great handle up front. And the front hatch, I've had other kayaks where the hatch was not as good. And it seems like that's another thing where this, like you would kind of think, oh, maybe this is a big box store kind of hatch. Maybe this isn't the highest quality hatch. I'll tell you what, whoever designed this hatch and how it works, it is absolutely dry, perfectly dry. You can do it one-handed, and it's just simple and easy. And that's kind of what I've found about Old Town is, although it seems a little simple, it is simple, but it's simple with a purpose. It's not simple for the sake of being cheap. It's simple, easy. And you know what I'm saying? Like it's simple, purposeful, not simple. It's the least amount it needs to be, and it does a great job with that. So then moving back, it drains real great. If you're looking at a picture of it, you can see how it drains from the front. So if you do happen to get any water over the bow, it drains perfectly. It's got a scupper that goes straight down. After the front hatch, it goes straight down into a hole. And that's right where your transducer cable is going to go. So it's a great spot for that. Yep. And then your drive, they latch down right up there, and you can that's also the same latch that goes on your PDL drive. So you can have extra ones. So then if you have one extra and you have one brake, it can go in any one of those three spots.
That's cool. Yeah. I like their kayaks, man. I've had the Old Town Predator MX, and the thing I like about them the most is they're just really comfortable. Yep. Really comfortable from the seat to the open deck. It looks like the Sportsman has a pretty nice open deck there as well, considering it has a pedal drive. But
and that's I don't have the like I'm about to get the MX like you're saying for rivers, but I also have a kayak cushion, but I really don't need one in that kayak. And the kayak cushion is a great. I mean, this is the review show. If anybody has an uncomfortable seat, you have to get a kayak cushion. But I don't use one in this kayak. I use it in my other kayak, my river kayak that I have now. But this kayak, I just don't need it. It's been super comfortable for me. Yeah. I think a lot of people, like, if you're looking at two different kayaks from Old Town, maybe the 132 the Big Water 132 and the Sportsman 120. I haven't been in the 132, so I can't talk about that. But I think the 120 is maybe a little bit for bigger guys like me. You know, I'm 250, so I need that little bit more stability. It's maybe a little bit slower. So the Predator / 132, that's a little bit faster boat. But mine, I still cruise at 3.5, and I can get it up to 5. So, I mean, I can move that thing pretty good. But it's super stable. I can get up and flip and pitch from it, punch. I don't have any problems. You know, if you got go to a bathroom, do whatever. You know, I'm 5'11", 250. I don't have any problems in that kayak. So,
what's the specs on it? Brad, you got pulled up still?
Yeah, I do. Let's see. I was going to ask that too because I was. You said stability, and I was just curious to see how wide it was.
Exactly 12 foot and 36 inches wide. I think that's what it is.
36 inches wide. That's pretty wide for a kayak.
I'm guessing.
All right.
It's like a tri-tune kind of deal.
Yeah. Trying to find it.
There it is.
There. That's a weird. All right. So, yeah, 85 pounds, 12 foot long, 36 inches wide.
Dude, that's a good weight. I wonder if that is. I'm gonna assume that's with the drive in it.
Yeah, that's what I would think too.
I don't know if it's with the drive, but it really is like a good weight. Like I've had other kayaks that are too heavy. I'm just going to say it, and I've said to other people, and I'm not trying to. I've had a Native Titan 12, and that's a good kayak. The Native Titan 12 is more stable for sure, has more capacity, but I've definitely described this kayak as a lighter, faster Titan.
Interesting.
That's what it is to me. And for me, the things I've given up to go from the Titan to this, I am absolutely happy with everything I've given up. To me, they were things I've given up, and I've been very happy. I didn't need the capacity of the Titan, and the things I gave up, they were all pluses.
Yeah. The Titan has never I've never had the desire to own a Titan just because how big they are.
Yeah. But I mean, a big boat was awesome. Like I was never afraid to. You can't flip a Titan. I came from a bass boat, so the first thing I wanted was a bass boat kayak, and that's exactly what it was. And now that I'm in a kayak longer, this is faster. I can carry 9-10 rods easily in this, and I don't have any. I have my Yak Gadget XD crate, and I can carry all the rods I want to in this. I could carry 12. I have the power, my Yak Gadget pole on the back. It's got the 4-bolt pattern in the back, so if you want a power pole or the Yak Gadget pole, you can have that.
Or Torpedo.
Yeah. Well, Torpedo, you couldn't do that because of the way because it's got that the rudder in the back. It's in the center.
Oh, okay. You can't take that off?
I don't know. I don't know if you could or not. I haven't done that.
That'd be interesting.
So I don't know, but you could definitely do. I'm sure if you took that scupper, the drain plug off the front, you could do an XI3 on the front.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Somebody has to be making. My buddy asked me this last week. Somebody has to be making a mount for Old Town on the front for XI3.
Yeah. So I would think this would be more of a bow mount kayak than it would be a Torpedo kayak.
Yeah. Does that drive come out and you can put in the whatever? Are you able to do that with the I forget what it's called, the Spotlight motor that they have?
No, no, it's just autopilot. The autopilot is Old Town's kind of went the other way where they're going to have, and I think that's where I would like to be. I'm kind of now that I have this kayak, I think I want to go the Old Town route where I'm going to have the river, the 3-boat deal where I'm going to have the river kayak, the pedal kayak, and the autopilot. Like but because it's like you can have. I'm so into it that I want to have all three.
Yeah.
Like instead of having one that's going to do all three of them poorly, or you can have like each one that does each one really well.
Yeah.
So that's a route I'm going to go.
How's that turning radius on that boat for you?
It's good. I would say it's kind of like if the stability on the kayaks, if the Titan's a 10, which kind of unreasonably 10, like no other kayak out there is a 10. The turning radius on, it's all relative. Like a Hobie 360 is a 10.
Yeah,
it's like it's hard to compare, but the turning radius is it's good. I'll say that. Like it's equal to the Titan. So if you've had a Titan, I would say it's right there. So I would say it's good to very good. Definitely not 360 because nothing else is, but very good. The rudder's all the way to the back. So I think that because it goes straight, it turns all the way. Like if you've had a Vibe or anything else with a rudder all the way to the back, because it turns all the way horizontal to the boat, it can turn pretty sharp.
So it has like 180 degrees of play then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I noticed most other kayaks, they don't go completely 180. It's more like 70 degrees both ways. And I don't know if that's why I just haven't had like that great of an experience in pedal drives or not, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just weird and I don't know.
Yes, you are weird.
I can't help it, man.
Forgiven.
Dude, I still love paddling though. I don't know. I'm weird.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the world of pedal drives. It was born from battling wind in a way. You know what I mean? Like it's an awesome feature. Like I hated fishing lakes for a long time because I couldn't stand to get out there when it's windy and try to paddle through that, man. You're just sitting there fighting for position all the time. And when I first got in a pedal drive with Brian, man, I was like, man, this is completely changes my outlook on going to fish a lake. It's just so much easier. It doesn't combat wind 100%, but it definitely helps, a lot. And it's much, much more enjoyable to be on bigger water and windy conditions and have a pedal drive than, sitting there trying to paddle in the wind like that. Cause it helps you also like run and gun fish. You want to go down a bank line and you're sitting there, boom, 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 and you can adjust your rudder and keep going down and make like a good angle and just keep cutting down a bank and fish that bank. And if it's windy, and you're paddling 9 times out of 10, you're sitting there just fighting a position, getting blown in or getting blown out away from where you want to fish. So,
yeah. And everybody has their own thing where some people love that paddle motor thing, like the Bonafide and the Torpedo. Some people love whatever it is. Here in Alabama, no tournaments allow motors, so I'm the pedal guy. Like I love to pedal, so pedal's my thing. And like I'm not a paddle guy. I mean, if I go on a river, sure, I'm going to paddle. You have to. But this is a kayak. This kind of kayak is the one that suits me the most. I love to lake fish, so I like to be I like to be out there where the boats are a lot. I like finesse fishing, main lake type stuff, so that a stable kayak where I'm not afraid to get hit by some waves. This is a kayak that really suits me and the way that I fish.
Right.
Yeah.
Now I had a quick question. I've been glancing through the Old Town website. What's the difference between the Sportsman 120 and the Topwater 120? They're the same in price.
Yeah, so there are some differences, and Casey's still going to be able to jump on. We hadn't talked about him yet, but he was Casey Reed. He's going to talk about the autopilot, but he was having some everybody with the issues of tonight with the storms. He was having some AC issues, so he was working on that. But he's about to jump on but he's going to talk about his autopilot. But they the top water is kind of the boat. I'm not 100% sure, but there's handles in the back that are different. I think here's what I think, and I'm not for sure. So again, I'm not on the team, but I think they're going to phase out the top water. I would say if I were on the market from the research I've done, I would buy the Sportsman. The Sportsman has a better seat. The Sportsman has 2 handles in the back instead of just one handle up on top. The Sportsman has the 4-hole pattern. It's not directly in the back, but it's kind of on the corner in the back. So if that's important to you, it has that. Besides that, it's the same hull. But why not get one that has a better seat? Because you want to sit in a better seat all day. Although you can upgrade to the Predator seat. I think the same seat that's in the big water, you can upgrade to that, but that's like $150 upgrade because that's supposed to be the most premium seat.
That's actually not a bad price for a seat, though.
Yeah,
well, considering all the seats for other kayaks.
Yeah, but the Sportsman seat is great. Like I said, I can sit in all day and not use a cushion and be perfectly happy. I had a lot of cushion though. I don't have a problem there.
Yeah. I noticed it has the little pocket underneath the seat, which the Old Town Predator I had the same thing. What do you throw in there?
I don't really put anything under it. But I will say maybe the best thing if you're a tournament kayak fisherman about the Sportsman and the topwater is the seat rail. It fits the catch board, like the metal catch board.
Yeah,
it's perfectly on. If you go in from the side, from one side to the other, it perfectly fits the 26-inch board. Like from side to side, it's like it's perfectly made for it. Like just perfectly made. That's where I attach a tether and my board goes right there perfectly underneath it. It's just like it was made to go there.
Yeah.
Underneath my seat, I have a couple of 6-cent bait bags, like the soft plastic bags, and I put them underneath my seat. So sometimes I keep my phone in there. Like I have on my track on the right-hand side, because I have an inflatable life jacket now. I have like I tie off my phone and I set it in that little area that you're talking about. I either keep it in my pocket or if it's raining, or I keep it in there.
I gotcha. Yeah, I usually throw I threw like bags that I was using for the day in there. So if I had like TRDs or something, I'd throw them in there real quick. Or one of the tubes from the battle box, I'd throw it down in there,
There you go.
Just something to grab real quick and go. I don't know, something like that.
Battle box. Oh, a little low-key flex there. I always wanted one of those.
Oh, dude, they're awesome. I love mine.
They look nice.
Jimmy almost talked me out of it, though, one time, because he was like, you need to get the Academy box. And I looked at it and was just like, nah.
That's ghetto. That's ghetto.
So I've always I'm not 100% sure on this, so I've kind of been wanting to ask the question with like the PDLs and the Minn Kota version of the Sportsman. Are those interchangeable?
What is it? I'm sorry.
Can you swap out the PDL drive and drop in the Minn Kota, or is that like a completely separate system? Is the cutout similar, or is that something it's like it's either you're getting autopilot or not kind of deal?
No, that's separate. All of them's like you have to have that one.
Okay.
There's Casey.
What's up, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. We're already recording. We're in the middle of the episode, but we are actually just winding down talking with Dan about his 120 PDL. So cool. It's almost perfect timing because we're going to talk about the autopilot next.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, man. Well, sorry I had to jump in late, but glad I was able to make it.
No worries. We appreciate you making the time, man. Sorry to hear the bad news.
Yeah, it's all good. I think everything's okay, but we'll have to just wait it out and see.
Josh, did you get your question answered?
Yeah, I was just asking, Dan, you can elaborate with this too. I was wondering about the PDL drive system and the autopilot. It was an interchangeable system. If the spacing and the cutout within the kayak itself, if it's similar or not. There's some kayak companies that kind of incorporate the ability to be able to do that. And I was wondering if it's something that the current lineup does.
With the autopilot, it's so far forward, like you wouldn't be able to pedal, right, Casey?
Yeah. So they basically they designed the autopilot for a motor only. Like that's what it does, and that's what it does good. So
cool.
Yeah.
Now, Dan, you said you're thinking about getting autopilot as well. Is that correct?
Yeah. First, I'm about to get the MX, and because summer's here, we have a lot of rivers, so I want to have that. But then probably next year, it's going to be the autopilot. Try fish some more of the KBF stuff next year. Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. Go up against Casey. And maybe get a little bit more practice first.
So let's talk about that, man.
Yeah.
Go
ahead, Brad.
Let's talk about the autopilot. Which one are you in right now, Casey?
So I'm in the 136.
Okay.
Why the 136 over the 120?
So I just wanted, I like the 13, 14 foot size. That's like what I've been in for a while. I mean, coming from the Predators, is more or less what I was used to. But the size of it is really what I like, just the storage. And I mean, dude, I was so excited when I got that thing, and I put 2 crates in it, and I mean, loaded up the tackle in it, and it can be a little too much sometimes. I'm sorry, what's that?
You have 2 black packs in it?
Well, I just have a normal crate, but yeah, I say a normal crate. They're longer than just like the square regular milk crates. Mm-hmm. But yeah, dude, it's loaded down with tackle, loaded down with everything. But
I know Alex Figuera, he's got like a grown man back there. That thing can hold. It's huge back there.
Yeah, there's so much room back there. So I have the 2 crates. I mean, I think I have 10 rod holders attached to my crate, and then there's even more room behind the 2 crates. Not enough for another full crate, but there's, a lot of people put another cooler or something back there. But yeah, it's unbelievable about how much room is in that tank well.
I think like all the videos and pictures I've seen from, like, I haven't been in one, but even in front of you too. Like, there's so much, like, you can kick out your legs. Like there's so much room for activities.
You can do yoga on that thing.
For real, man. There's a lot of room in that thing.
There is. So when I first got in it, I was, standing up fishing a whole bunch, and I would walk around a little bit. And, I'd go to sit back down, and I'd end up falling in the floor because I'm used to just standing up. I'm used to just falling back, and I'll land in the seat. But, I mean, I moved around so much, and I wasn't used to it, that I just straight up fall down on the floor, just thinking the seat was underneath me, but it wasn't. So, yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Like, I mean, it's sometimes hard to get around. Like if you got something on the floor way up in front of you, if you're sitting down, I mean, you have to get up and either stand up and go get it, or like crawl around and to reach up there and go get it. There's so much room.
I like that though, man. That's what draws me to kayaks that have open deck space like that. It's just that feature right there is what I look for in a kayak.
Something that I really like. It's so simple with it, but I'm a huge fan of the forward flush mounted rod holders. Like
same way in the Sportsman. It's so nice. Like you want to retie, and you got that.
Yeah,
every kayak should have that.
Yeah, man, it's a great addition because when I saw that, I saw it over at Strictly Sail, and I'm like, oh, that's just a beautiful idea. Because I think it's who do we see who does a rod holder like that? I want to say Greg Blanchard had one kind of on the side. So every time he caught a fish, you would see him holster his rod real quick in his videos. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that's just a great idea. Cause then, you're kind of hands free. You're not sitting there holding the rod or battling around, knocking it around. And when I saw that on the Old Town, I'm like, that's a great idea. I think more companies need to kind of start getting on board with that. At least put one in there, something.
We lost for a second, but I am going to end up taking over the show because I want to get one. And I have so many questions that I just want to ask them about them too.
Well, heck, let's look at these specs here, man. 158 pounds.
It's crazy. Like I'm guessing you have to have like some wheels for it, like a Boondocks landing gear. All right, there he is. So do you have to have a Boondocks landing gear? Is that what you have on yours?
I'm sorry. Were you asking me? I got a call and I couldn't hear y'all, so I had to jump out and jump back in.
Do you have a Boondocks landing gear on yours? Is that what you have?
No, I don't. I trailer it everywhere, man. Okay. That thing is a beast, man. You could probably get away with Boondocks on it, but it with as much as I store in there, man, it's I think it's too much for it.
Yeah.
There's a few different carts that I think work well with them, but I don't have any experience with them. Pretty much everywhere I've ever put in, I've either just found a spot where I could back down into the water or, at least to the water's edge and just slide it kind of into the water. I don't like picking that thing up if I don't have to.
Yeah.
Just put it on the wheels or whatever. Yeah.
So this one's so big, you're treating it like a boat. I mean, you just pretty much have to.
I mean, yeah, that's more or less my style to begin with. Like when I had the Predator PDL, I mean, I did the same thing. I mean, unless I absolutely had to, I was not. Yeah, I was just backing it in the water any place I could.
And that's what I was going to say earlier to you, Dan, when you were talking about fishing lakes. I'm like, I'm one of those guys where if I'm fishing a lake, I'd rather be on a boat. So like something big like this, I probably wouldn't mind, and I would actually trailer it too. And I have trailered my lake kayaks in the past that have weighed over 100 pounds just for that reason. But yeah, I completely agree with Casey.
It's a sharp boat, man.
My kayaks, it probably is over 200 pounds loaded down,
man.
And, the orange with the photic orange and the orange and the green have been out for over a year now. New colorways coming out for this year. You can give us a little scoop here.
I don't know. I really don't. My guess is there probably will be, but I really don't know.
Yeah. See, it seems too early to come out with something else at ICAST this year, but maybe some new color scheme seems like it would come out this year.
Yeah, I would definitely think so. It seems like they've been playing around with the colors quite a bit, with the other lines, and yeah, I'd be pumped to see a couple other colors. I was actually pretty disappointed when I saw that it was only the two options of colors, and but I've really fallen in love with the orange, the ember color, and I really like it now. And when I first saw it, it was the one I disliked the most, and then when I saw it in person, I was like, I have to have that one.
I have the orange one. Was it Ryan? Ryan is the one that runs it. If Ryan Lilly isn't that his name?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Ryan, if you're watching this, hey, look at that. What was it? Native that did that Slayer with the popsicle, red, white, and blue. Dude, come out with that. I need that. Make that in the autopilot. you got one sold, holler at me.
Dude, I'm a big fan of the Predator MK First Light. It's that kind of neon green and black and gray and white kind of mix. That's a sharp looking kayak. I really like that.
Yeah.
I like the white and black one that they had back a few years ago.
They got rid of that one. I don't know if it just didn't sell like they hoped, but yeah, that was a pretty cool one.
Yep.
They had a cool camo too. Yeah.
Yeah, just the brown camo is what I always had. I mean, at one point I had like four different Predators, and they were all just the brown camo. I loved it. And then when they had the 2020 PDL came out, they had I don't know what they called it. It was the grayish camo, and that one was pretty nice too.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, I like more darker kind of colors, and that's why when I saw that the two colors of the Sportsman line were going to be, I was kind of disappointed. But again, like I said, man, once I saw that Ember in person, it was I fell in love with it, honestly.
It does look good.
Yeah, I like it too. I see a lot of people with the greenish looking one. I don't see very many of the orange, so it's kind of cool to see that.
Hey, I got the orange. All right. Hey, I have a 4-year-old. I try to just stay visible out there. It's not the coolest color, but
Hey, that's important, man.
Yeah,
that's important.
All right, there you go. There's orange.
This motor though, as technology grows and this don't accept, I mean, are they going to be coming out with a motor that still fits in that as technology progresses?
So again, I really don't know what the plans are. I have no inside information. I mean, myself, I was thinking about like, what if you put a bigger size motor in here? Just thinking, what if you got like the 55 and put it in there or something?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's made to be able to accept that. I don't know too much about the whole Minn Kota motor line, but I do know that the size of the opening is limited, and the way that motor fits in there, it fits pretty well in there. There's not a whole lot of other room. And I think my understanding is that like the 55 pound, I think it's got a bigger, it's a bigger motor. It's got a bigger, I don't know what you call it, the head unit on there. But I don't know if it would fit or not. So I don't know if that's an option moving forward or not. I would love to see it if it was, just more power, especially when you're loading it down with as much stuff as I am, being able to get moving a little quicker and maybe get some more top speed out of it as well.
What is your top speed?
So
isn't that what it is? 3.5, 3.2?
No, I'm getting I've done a little playing around with the props, but I have a aftermarket prop that I've put on it, and I've gotten 4.3, 4.4 on it. Just pretty much 4.3, I think is kind of what it tops out at in prime conditions.
Do you have one of those like airplane propellers? The model? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. I saw something like that.
Yeah, so I know Old Town did say that they won't warranty the motor if you use these aftermarket props. I don't know what effect it has on it, like long term, but just getting that extra speed for me is awesome, and I'll eat the cost of it if I have to. If something were to break down because I'm using that prop. But for now, just testing it out and kind of seeing how it goes. But yeah, with the stock prop on there, I think it was like 3.8, 3.9 was the top speed I was seeing. Looking on the like user groups, there's some people getting more than that. Some people are getting 4.2, 4.3 out of the stock prop. I don't know what it is. If it's just the conditions they're in, or the weight of them in their kayak. I don't know. I don't know what the differences are, because I've heard a lot of different top speeds from people.
Interesting.
I think kind of, Brad, what you were saying is I think the good thing about the integration of that motor and that kayak is they're owned by the same company.
Yeah.
You know, like they're always going to service. Minn Kota is always like, even if that motor, you know, the kayak gets a little bit older 5 years from now, Minn Kota is still going, and you break your motor, Minn Kota is still going to make that motor for that kayak because they own that brand. So they still want to make that motor for it. You know, it's not like they, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I always forget that too. Old Town, Minn Kota, I always forget that same company.
Yeah, it's cool. Pretty cool. I mean, it's definitely a benefit for Old Town just being able to work with the Minn Kota guys and have them, you know, their expertise and, you know, just to be able to help progress this, you know, these boats even further. Mm-hmm. And I mean, with from my knowledge, even with the PDL drive when it first came out, that was a lot of that was Minn Kota like helping them out with, you know, kind of what they knew about a prop style, you know, a motor with it, because that's basically what it is. Your legs are just the motor. So mm-hmm. Minn Kota definitely helped them out with that as well.
Interesting.
Very cool. It's cool to see the progression with it, because I mean, I remember seeing Old Town with the first like trolling motor setup, like you know, sitting in not Bass Pro, but I think it was at Cabela's. Well, now they're the same, but you know, I remember being like, oh man, what is that for? You know, like blah blah blah, and I'm like, I was really, you know, at the time I was actually fishing for my first kayak. So, but you know, they've been in the game, you know, putting in trolling motors in that well before anybody else were, you know, and it's a great partnership. And, you know, I finally, I hadn't met anybody for a very long time that had the old Predator Minn Kota set up. And then finally I ran into somebody out there and he raved about how much he loved that kayak. And, you know, he was like, it's just, he's like, it's a fishing machine, man. He's like, there's nothing better than being able to set up a trolling motor, set it on slow and go up and down these banks, you know, and you're not like we were talking about with pedal drives, you know, dealing with the wind. And when you're trying to, you know, before you got a pedal drive, you're sitting there paddling and dealing with those things. And it makes fishing easier, you know, it makes it where you can make more casts, you know, and that type of stuff is very important for a tournament angler like Casey and Dan. And, you know, it's cool to see them evolve with the different boats, you know, because for a long time, it was just, I only knew the Predator, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then in the past couple of years, I'm like, Old Town's coming up with all kinds of stuff, you know, and it's been cool to see them, you know, start evolving their products.
I'll tell you what, too, if I just had unlimited money and all the space, I live in the city, so I don't have all the garage space I want, but I wish I could have one of those Minn Kota the 106, like where it's it's like foot controlled steering, and it's like what you're saying, the old school Minn Kota. That looks like a fun kayak, man. Mm-hmm. Like I wouldn't tournament kayak fish out of that really, but it just looks like a hoot. Like you just, you know, you instead of having to control it with your hands or with a remote, you just control it with your feet. It's foot controlled steering with the Minn Kota motor, and you just go down and fish. It's 10 foot. That looks like a fun kayak, and it'd be fun for like my wife to, you know, while I'm out fishing, she could have fun with that, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That looks, out of all their lineup, if I had to pick one, that looks like the funnest one. If I were buying a fun Old Town, that would be the one to me.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome to see the upgrades from that, from what they did with the Predator, the MK to that one. I mean, you know, I don't know if y'all seen the Predator MK, but I mean, it had a big pod in the middle, and that was part of the motor. And I mean, this one is just sleek, and I mean, it sticks up from the deck a little bit, but it's almost just flush with the deck. And there's, you know, you have the wide open cockpit instead of having that big pod in front of you. And then, yeah, like you said, you have a throttle, and then your pedals or your foot pegs to steer the rudder with. And yeah, that thing zooms along too. It's a solid bit.
Yeah,
that'd be cool to see them put that in a bigger kayak, like that setup. That'd be kind of neat.
That's like the sleeper kayak, I think. Like if you had that, I think you could probably go out and get some checks with that. Like in the right situation, that would be the right kayak, you know.
Yeah.
You could probably cover a lot of water, you know.
Oh yeah.
So back to the autopilot. I want to talk about the battery storage. Where are you storing your battery?
So I run 2 different batteries. I have the battery for the motor. I have a Dakota Lithium 100 amp hour battery. That's the Old Town has a built-in battery box, and that goes under the seat.
Nice.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so there's a little hole right under the seat, and it just sits right in there. It's got straps. You can strap it down, and yeah, it fits well right there. And then I run batteries for my electronics, and those go under my seat as well. There's a hatch under there, and I just kind of sit it on top of the hatch right now.
That's actually a pretty genius idea to put it under the seat, just to keep that center of gravity inside the kayak. Because I know other kayaks, like people are putting them in their front hatches, and it's like weighing down the front of the kayak too much to where you're not getting that right angle on the water to get the maximum speed. So having a battery under the seat and then under your center of gravity just makes more sense than in the front.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm pretty sure that's why they designed it that way. Is just keep that, you don't want too much weight on your bow or on your, the back of the kayak. So I assume under the seat was the perfect spot. It fits well. And I actually raised my seat up a little bit as well. I use these aftermarket seat risers, and so there's even more room under the seat, so I can stuff a tackle box or 2 under there as well. Not that
that's
I don't
awesome.
have storage already, but
dang, man.
Always looking for another room for more tackle boxes.
Yeah, that kayak don't have inside storage either, does it?
Yeah, that's my one downfall about it is it does, but you can't fit a whole lot of stuff in there. So there's a hatch on the front, and it's probably like 6 inches.
Yeah,
you can fit like a small battery in there. Put a few smaller things in there, but I don't really use the inside storage for anything right now. When I get a couple of new batteries, hopefully coming up here soon, I am going to put them in the hatch that's under the seats, and I'm going to permanently install them in there. And I'll just plug them up to, have a plug on it that I can plug it in and charge them from inside the hull of the kayak.
Nice. That's cool. And the plug is in there to the motor and everything. So you're not running any external wiring.
Nope.
That's awesome.
Yeah. From the battery box, it goes. There's basically right next to the battery box, there's a plug in. So you plug the battery box into the kayak, and then you plug up front. You plug your motor into the kayak as well. So there's very, very little wiring. Straight from the motor to the kayak and straight from the battery to the kayak. It's only outside wiring.
Heck yeah.
I did not realize this kayak had all these features. It's pretty freaking sweet. Cool.
Yeah, they pretty much nailed it with this one, man. And you should, if y'all have been at the Bassmaster Classic and saw people when they first saw this kayak, the booth there was crazy because people had never seen a motor integrated like that in a kayak before, and it was pretty awesome seeing people's expressions when they saw what it was and how it worked.
It's crazy. It kind of came out of nowhere. Like it seems like it kind of caught everybody by surprise. Like there wasn't. It didn't seem. Maybe you were on the inside, so you were expecting it. But I know for me and everybody else, at least here at Paddle and Fin, it seemed like we weren't expecting anything. Like it just kind of boom. What's up?
Yeah,
we're integrated, like motor only boat. Like it just nobody was expecting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they did a good job. Like I knew about it a little bit beforehand. They took a handful of the pro staff down to Miami, and we got out on the water and kind of got the first look at them there, and got to test them out, and get a little bit of seat time in them. And so that's the first that any of the pro staff, or at least most of the pro staff, got their eyes on them and hands on them. And I mean, I can tell you, we were all blown away at what it was. And I mean, to this day, I'm still kind of blown away at how awesome it is. Just having the way that the motor is integrated and the way you can fish out of that thing, it's really like you're on a bass boat, up there fishing. Mm-hmm. I mean, I never used to stand and fish, and now I stand and fish most of the time. It's and not just stand and fish, but I'm moving, covering water while I'm standing and fishing. So it's pretty awesome how it all works together.
And how user friendly is the hand control system?
So it takes a little bit to get used to. It definitely took me some getting used to, but now, I mean, I just know where the buttons are on the remote. It's hanging around my neck. I can grab it. I can cut the motor on, cut it off without looking, turn it up, slow it down, turn it around. You basically don't have to look. The remote's fairly simple. So as soon as you kind of get an idea of where the buttons are, you can kind of feel your way around and get to them really quick.
Nice.
Yeah, that was going to be my question. Josh stole it.
I didn't steal anything. You're just slow.
That's all right.
And now I don't mean to change subject, but I do have to ask. You put the 360 on it now, right?
I have the 360. I'm working on it right now. I just cut the shaft down on it to fit. I have a mount that I made for the 360. I just haven't put it all together yet and got it in the water, but hopefully that's coming up this weekend.
Like people are all about the live scope, but 360, like that's what I want more than anything.
Yeah.
Are you want to do like the trolling? I saw somebody had like a trolling motor mount where it kind of locks back. That seems like it would be the deal to me.
For the 360?
Yeah, like somebody. Well, I think somebody was doing it with a live scope, but like how you mount it on the side of your kayak. They were doing it like where it locks. Like it goes down, then it locks back like a trolling motor mount. That seems like a nice mount to have on the side of your kayak. I don't know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm interested to see. So Hummingbird's coming out with their Mega Live hopefully soon. The last word I really heard was March. Heard rumors that it's pushed back till April. I don't know. I've been kind of trying to keep an eye
besides the 360. So now you have to have one on each side.
What's that?
So now you'll have to have two different poles going down on like a 360 on one side and a Mega Live on the other.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how. Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering if you couldn't just mount it on the motor. Like, I don't know if that would work just because the shaft length. But you possibly could just mount it on the motor, kind of like you would on a bass boat, and be able to turn it and look around like that as well. I don't know. I don't have much experience with it, obviously. I've never ran to any of the live, but I definitely got my eyes on it, and I definitely would like to get it and test it out. I mean, it's just you hear about it all the time now. All these in the Elite Series guys are winning with it, using it constantly. And,
Walters, that guy's killing everybody.
Yeah, and I guess Brian New, I think he was using his. He's got some kind of custom mounts I think he made for it. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely intriguing. At first, I just kind of thought it was a fad, but more and more people are talking about it. The more and more it's like maybe it's something that I really need to get. And luckily, Hummingbird is now coming out with one, so. So be able to hopefully get my hands on it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Old Town is owned. They own Hummingbird as well, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, Johnson Outdoors. Yeah, Johnson Outdoors is a bunch of different companies, but the big ones are Old Town, Hummingbird, and Minn Kota.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, they're set up nicely.
Like Kelty, right? I love some camping stuff too.
Yeah. I forget. There's some other smaller kind of camping brands, and then like Carlisle Paddles. It's definitely 6 or 7 different brands. I think is what's under the Johnson Outdoors.
One of them's like Jet Boil, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, those are cool.
Jet Boil some food out on a kayak.
Yeah,
that and coffee.
Get Dan's out there scrambling eggs.
Yeah, out on the autopilot. Bring up the Jet Boil, okay?
He's like, I'm not having a good day. Stop by and get a burger.
Yeah, set the autopilot, set up the Kelty, tent in the back, your hammock. Just have everything all on.
You start a food truck out of your kayak.
Just have like you can advertise every Johnson brand on your kayak all at one time. You should try to sell Ryan that. Like, dude, I've got an idea for a commercial. Check this out.
That's funny. I could picture it now. Dan just pedaling around on his kayak. Just selling food out off of his kayak to all the tournament anglers.
Yeah. Hey man, check out Jet Boil. I'd burn myself. Hey man, Marvin Outdoors. That he's cooking. How do you call it? Wagyu. I don't have the money for that, dude. I'm cheap. He gets Wagyu off the kayak. He's got a native. He's eating that off the Slayer Max. He works at Apple. I work at Ram Tool, selling tools. He's out in California eating Wagyu off the Slayer Max. We ain't doing that in Alabama. Casey maybe on the East Coast, he's eating, Jet Boil Mount Holmes stuff off the autopilot. In Alabama, we're eating tiny, Vienna sausages.
and then you have me and Josh up in Ohio starving on the water. Wait until after the tournament's over.
Brad with his headaches. Oh man.
Sorry, I got off topic there.
Hey, it's gonna make for a good 30-second clip for this. So.
Don't put that on there.
Oh, it's going on.
You screaming Wagyu.
Wagyu. Oh, sorry.
That's awesome.
Late. Whew. All right.
That's good. Brad, you got anything else you want to add?
No, man. We hit everything. I mean, we hit the 2 kayaks we wanted to talk about, so it was a good time.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, Casey, I appreciate you making the time, man. I know you had a kind of rough day, so thank you for taking a little bit of time to talk to us. Dan, as always, it's great talking to you, buddy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's always, man, a pleasure to be on, and I appreciate y'all having me here.
Yeah, man, we'll get you back on and talk some more product stuff too in the future. So if you got anything, you want to talk about, reach out to me or Brad or Dan, and we'd be more than happy to have you back on the show.
Casey's got all the good stuff. Holler at him, man. Seriously.
Yeah, maybe as soon as I get this new setup going, I'll be running that 360, and I'll have my Helix 9 and 10 mounted on there. So I'm excited.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
We'll have Dan on, and he could just be super jealous the whole time.
Hey, y'all! If you're looking for a YouTube channel, watch Casey's YouTube. He's got the good stuff, man. Really, watch it. I'm watching it like I'm subscribed.
Yeah, Casey, do you got any social media handles that you want to throw out there for our listeners where they can follow you?
Just Casey D Reed on Instagram. Casey Reed on Facebook. Then it's youtube.com/+ Casey Reed Fishing or something. Just search Casey Reed Fishing and I'm sure you'll find it.
Cool.
But yeah. I'm looking for some YouTube subscribers, trying to bump that up here. So I'd appreciate if you go subscribe to that.
Do it.
Hopefully some good stuff coming out soon.
Heck yeah, man. All right, Brad, anything else?
No, man. Been fun.
All righty. everybody, thanks for listening again. Tune in next week, and maybe we'll have Dan back on, and we can talk something else. No, Dan, you done with us?
Once is enough a year. I'll see y'all next year.
All right, you guys have a good night.
I'll embarrass myself in 2022.
Say that word one more time.
Wagyu? I don't know. I can say Vienna sausages. Wagyu? I don't know. I don't eat that. I can say ribeye.
Oh, man. Well,
all right.
Go ahead, Brad. Take us out.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you guys next week. And you guys have a good day. Wagyu.
Thanks for tuning in to another killer episode on Paddle and Fin. Don't forget to go check out our website at paddle_and_fin.com. Don't forget to check out the YouTube channel at Paddle and Fin. If you got a question, comment, want to hear from a future guest on a future episode, feel free to email us at paddle_and_fin@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Paddle and Fin on Facebook and Instagram. Shout out to our show supporters, Angler. The Angler button and app just makes for a better time on the water and creates a virtual logbook for every fishing outing out on the water. Shout out to Rocktown Adventures, located in Northern Illinois, for all your kayaking, camping, and hiking needs. Shout out to Jig Masters Jigs. When in doubt, get the jig out. Go to jigmasters.com.